All right, I guess we can get started. Hopefully we have we have a good turnout tonight. I'm excited for this. This is the first time we have ever done a virtual parent um, step up night or information night. So we're excited about it. It's been a crazy year. For all of you out there who don't know me, I am Paul Funk, the principal of Dennis-Yarmouth High School. I think I've been at DY 21 or 22 years as a teacher, classroom teacher, coach, athletic director, assistant principal. Done a little bit of everything there, and you're in good hands with everybody that's on this panel because they're going to do most of the work tonight. I'm fortunate to have a great team behind me to make sure things get done well. A couple of ground rules or whatever. We're trying to give you as much information in a short period of time as we can. Hopefully, as parents, you saw that video that these incredible ambassadors, and we'll introduce them in a minute, made for you guys. I sent that out last night. We also met with your sons and daughters today through via Zoom, just like this. And Katie and Josh, our guidance counselors, will explain that. And we'll explain what we did with how we got your sons and daughters signed up for classes. So let me go through and start with who we have available tonight for some questions and how we're going to hopefully share some of our great things we do at DY. So on the call with us tonight, we've got Assistant Principal Mike Barrett, our Athletic Director and Assistant Principal Mary O'Connor, Assistant Principal Josh Clarkin, our two 8th grade and freshman guidance counselors, Katie Glasheen and Josh Steele. And we have our Director of Music, our marching band director, Alex Pendleton. In addition to those staff members that are here, we have a bunch of students that are going to be, available to answer some questions for you guys. You'll put your questions in the question and answer area chat when you want to ask a question. So for students, we have Julia Frohmeyer. We have Riley Flynn, one of our tremendous theater students. We have Victor Souza. We have Kevin Arsenault. Did I miss anybody on our student panel? I think that's it for our student panel. Some of these, the students that are on here are ambassadors. It's a program that welcomes students into the school. They do a number of things throughout the year, but their main goal is to welcome new students and give them tours of the school. So they're the ones that produced the feature film that we sent out last night. I had told these guys to put a little film together, video together regarding the school, how to get familiar with it, give a tour. I figured it'd be, 4 or 5 minutes long. It's 50 minutes. So they put their heart and soul into the video. They wanted to make sure they answered all kinds of questions that might be out there. So I really would like you as parents to take a look at that video. I think it's fantastic. I think they put a lot of effort into it. So I think it's great. Couple of things I just want to touch on before I turn this over to Katie and Josh, both of whom were students of mine when I was in the classroom. We have we have a unique school here at DY. We have people that believe so much in the school and believe what they can get out of the school and what the school can do for them. And that's what you'll hear from some of these from the students and things. But some of the key aspects of the school that I am very proud of and have, as I said, been here for over 20 years. Your sons and daughters will have the opportunity to take a variety of classes, all kinds of stuff, different varieties of math class, science class. We'll have AP physics, AP chemistry, to ecology, all kinds of writing courses. 3 different languages are available: German, French, Spanish. all kinds of stuff like that. But in addition to that, I like to say that a student's curriculum is more than what's in the classroom. And curriculum is the student's entire experience in the district, and even more so the entire experience at DY for us. So when I say that, I mean, these kids that are on here, and a lot of our students will participate in a million co-curricular activities that are out there for them. And Mr. Barrett's going to hit on that a little later. College prep. The college prep will start right in 8th grade with our tremendous guidance department. They will start preparing you. If you're interested in going to college, you're going to start getting prepared to go to college in the 8th grade. It's one of the reasons why I think we've been extremely successful with some of our kids having the 8th grade at the high school, because we can get these kids in that mindset that, hey, I'm starting to think about what I'm going to do when I leave Dennis-Yarmouth High School as soon as they walk in as 8th graders. Work to careers. We have the most unique work to careers program on the Cape. We will get internships in the junior and senior year. This year, even in COVID, we have instituted a senior capstone project where we have 100 seniors in some form of internship in the real world. We also have 52 seniors that are out taking college classes, either at 4Cs or at Mass Maritime. There's no other school on the Cape that's doing that. I'm extremely proud of Lisa Fady, who's in charge of that program. She's worked really hard. She's also worked on getting what's called an innovative pathway grant. We've already been granted $25,000 from the state on this, as we're trying to move our science department forward into a health science theme and provide opportunities for students in the health sciences. In addition to all that, we have all kinds of athletic opportunities for our students, which you'll hear from Coach O'Connor, Miss O'Connor, our athletic director, in a few minutes. We have an incredible band. We have an incredible theater program. As I had mentioned, Riley has done a fantastic job. I've witnessed her in numerous plays. They've even done virtual ones, which are incredible. And we have an incredible art program that students are winning awards from the state and from New England, all on different art projects. Our 3D art projects, our pottery program this year really took off and was fantastic. So I urge you to get involved, as parents, to get your sons and daughters involved when they get up there. And one of the unique things, and I'm sure Mr. Pendleton will talk about it, we make it so your son or daughter can do everything. And when I say that, you can play football and be in the band. You can play football and be in the play. You can run cross country and be part of the math team. We figure out a way for it to work for each individual kid. And Mr. Pendleton will speak to that. We've had kids, and I was a baseball coach, we've had kids come off the baseball field in their uniform, jump right into the band and start playing. And that's all part of the DY experience that we're so proud of. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to 2 guidance counselors. One thing to remember, when you put some of your questions that you want answered, if you put them in the chat, please keep them general. Something we could answer tonight, not specific to your son or daughter. If you have specific questions to your son or daughter, email Katie and Josh or any of us on the panel, and we'll answer them through email. I know the big question you probably want to ask me is what's school going to look like next year? I am expecting it to look like it did two years ago, that we're all back in school. I'm expecting it to be that way. The commissioner has come out with guidelines for this year. We're already planning for next year to be back to where we were. So we're expecting school to be 5 days a week next year. So at that point, I'm going to turn it right over to Katie and Josh. So
thank you, Dr. Funk.
Thank you, Dr. Funk. Dr. Funk, one thing, Mr. Pendleton is having a little bit of a hard time getting in. I just want to make sure he can speak to our music program. So if you could send him a link again, that would be helpful. Thank you.
He needs to be listed as a panelist, he's saying.
Okay.
All right.
All right, let me work on that.
Okay.
Sure. So I am Katie Glashy, and I am one of the 8th and 9th grade guidance counselors up at DY. I have the back half of the alphabet, so students with the last name L through Z are in my caseload.
My name's Josh Steele. So if your son or daughter is their last name is A through K, they will be with me next year. I'm gonna share something with you right now. All right. So this is our information for you to get in touch with us. Today we went through all the academics, setting up the schedule. And out of the 203 kids, I think we had about 180 register for their class, pick their classes, let us know what they want, what they're thinking of. So we had a really good turnout. So your son or daughter should have that information, because we encourage them to take pictures of it, but also there's other ways to go and find that. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
So our roles up at DY, we're really here to support your student throughout their 8th grade and freshman year by providing academic counseling, which includes scheduling, but also social emotional support when needed, and career awareness. We get into the classrooms pretty early and start talking about multiple intelligences, learning style inventory, all things that can help them make decisions later on as juniors and seniors as to what might be best fits for them when they graduate.
So what we did today, so again, we went through, helped your student pick out their classes for next year. We let them know about, so for the core classes, English, ELA, math, science, and civics, that's what they'll be taking next year. There's an advanced and standard option. The advanced is for students that are, achieving A's and B's, really hard workers, high interest in that subject. And it moves a little bit faster and the expectations are a little bit higher. The standard level is what they've been taking all along. Still high expectations, moving along, but a little more thorough with how they go through things and explain things and getting kids to move along. So today, when they met with us, they logged into their Google Classroom for 2026, their year of graduation, and we had the scheduling form in there. They opened that up. So students are able to edit their selections. So you should be able to sit down with your student, look at their selection, and see what they picked. You do this by, so if you look at the screen, when you open up the form, it should say edit your responses. You can click that, it'll go right back into the form. You can see all the responses that they selected, and then it'll go through their choices.
So we want to be really, really clear about that students are still able to edit their selections. So if they chose something today and you open it up with them tonight or this weekend and have questions or you'd like to make adjustments, we're really flexible. Nothing is etched in stone here. This was like the jumping off point of a bigger process that we go through, which does include getting some recommendations from 7th grade teachers and parent input as well. So if your child does want to make a change to their schedule for next year, they would just need to email us. You could email us, and then we could go ahead and make that adjustment.
So part of picking their academic classes, I listed the 4 core classes that they selected, but they could also select a foreign language between French, Spanish, and German. They could also pick advanced levels for those classes if they've taken, foreign language for a couple of years and they're really good at it. They can take the advanced level. All the levels are, the standard levels are for introductory. Also, they would have picked their PE class and then their electives too. And the electives included band, chorus, and orchestra. So if your students involved in band, chorus, or orchestra, make sure they selected that if you want them to continue.
So this is a sample schedule for next year. We are on a 2-semester timeline. So semester 1 runs from September to the end of January, and then semester 2 from January till the end of June, or from whenever school ends. So ELA is a full year course, as are math and science. Civics is our social studies curriculum. That's a half-year course. They may have that semester 1, and then semester 2, they could jump into the foreign language of their choice or an elective if they chose not to take a foreign language in 8th grade. Then that still leaves them 2 spots for an elective as well, which are semester-based classes.
So checking in with us, we know that this is a big transition for your student coming to the high school, but we want it to be a smooth one. We want it to be fun. We want it to be exciting. Little nerves should be normal, but we do want to make it as smooth as possible. So getting to know some of the older students through sports teams is a great way to do it. It gets them into the building a little bit earlier, and if they do a fall sport, getting connected with theater groups, things like that. Different activities and clubs are great ways to get in and get comfortable with the building. That being said, it's still a little nerve-wracking, so we are here to help with this transition. If you reach out to Ms. Glasheen or myself, we are happy to meet with you by Zoom, by phone, email. You can shoot us emails. Parents or students are welcome to shoot us emails and connect with us. And we can sit down and kind of talk through any concerns or questions or, scheduling dilemmas that you may have.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're here for your students, your children right now, and for you as well. For those of you that are going through the process for the first time of sending a child up to the high school, we want to make sure you feel comfortable and know what the expectations are, what their day is going to look like. So we'd be happy to meet with anyone. As a note, I am going to be going out on maternity leave in May. So I'm here until then, and I'm happy to meet with anyone up until that point. Afterwards, Mr. Steele can help any family, regardless of where their last name falls in the caseload.
All right.
All right. So Dr. Funk, I think we're all set.
All right, great. And as parents, please don't hesitate to reach out to our guidance counselors. They do a fantastic job. As I mentioned, I can't say enough about it. And they'll start with you now. But a couple of the unique things that happen as these kids progress is our guidance counselors take a one-on-one approach to help students and families find the best college or job sequence, or, if they're interested in the service, military service, they're going to have one-on-one counseling all the way through. And by the time they become juniors, we have a massive junior college breakfast. We did it via Zoom this year. It went great. We explained the we explained the college process. We bring in an admissions person from a local college. I think this year she was from Assumption. And then after that, every guidance counselor schedules individual meetings with parents to go over the FAFSA, go over the application. So when I tell you these counselors are here to walk you through the process of high school and then into college, you won't find it anywhere. They do a fantastic job. Something I got to tell you, I'm really proud of. All right, so moving forward, again, when you think of coming to DY, think of there's so many opportunities. You want to get involved in all of them. We really believe in the well-rounded student. So I'm going to have Mr. Barrett and Mr. Clark and just discuss some of our co-curriculars and maybe some of our key initiatives that we're really pushing as an admin team. All right.
Well, good evening. I'm Michael Barrett, one of the assistant principals. Mr. Clark and I, and you'll talk to Mr. Clark in a few minutes, we are working with all your kids for the discipline, and pretty much the everyday works with the kids. If you have any questions, please give us a call. I know that I've already fielded 6 or 7 parents, 7th grade parents, phone calls. Parents are a little nervous of kids coming up to the high school, which is it's an obvious thing. But what I tell them is make sure the kids get involved, because the one concern the parents have is trying to get to know people. And of all 7 parents, that's the one thing they want to know. And I said, get involved in clubs, sports, activities. I want to just go over a few of the clubs. I mean, of course, we have the ambassadors. Okay, some of you seen the film already. It's awesome, 49 minutes long. Okay, love everything about it. We have the ambassadors. We have the art club, band, chorus, percussion. We have drama and human rights club. We have French, Spanish, and German club, the GSA club, Key Club, Tech Club. Again, this is something we want these kids involved. And as Dr. Funk said, we will make it work. If kids want to be involved in a club, sport, whatever they want to, we will make it work. Newspaper, National Honor Society. Student council is something which is big here. You have the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders. We want to make sure they're involved as a president, vice president, even if they just want to be involved somehow in the class, we will make it work. You have the math team, peer leaders, Leo Club. Those are just some of the clubs that we have here. Again, when I talked to the parents, I think they felt at ease when I went over a lot of the clubs and the sports here. Have your kids get involved. If they're a little shy, you have the guidance counselors, have them come see Mr. Clark and I. We'll love to sit down with them. I want to get to know them, and then we can probably send them in the right direction for a club. Mr. Clark is up with a little bit more information about what we do.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Barrett. As you've heard tonight, I mean, we really enjoy what we do. You know, I love this job. People think I'm crazy, but I really do love this job. You're going to hear from some students later on. You've heard from us adults. We really care about your sons and daughters. We really want to encourage them to do their best. And yeah, it can seem scary sending your kids off to the high school, but they're going to be just fine. They're a lot more resilient than us adults are, and they're going to be just fine. But I look forward to working with you and your sons and daughters next year. And I'm really looking forward to hopefully a more normal school year. The thought of having everyone back in the school and all the activities, and that, you know, because this school is bustling with energy, activity. It's a really happening place when we have everything up and running like normal. I personally can't wait to have that energy back. And these students are the main reason we have that wonderful energy. So one thing that I wanted to just briefly touch on is attendance next year at the high school. As all of you know, attendance at school is the biggest key ingredient in success. Showing up to school every day allows you to be the best that you possibly can be, whether that's socially, emotionally, academically, athletically, artistically, whatever it is. Coming to school every day will provide you with the best opportunities that you can possibly have. And you're going to be getting more information. The reason why I bring attendance up is because, you know, thinking about next year and kind of transitioning back to school from this remote, funky situation that we've all been living in. We know kids are going to have gaps in their learning. We know that there's going to, so there's going to be anxiety. There's going to be this, that, and the other thing. Getting to school every day is going to be even more important than ever. And we're really encouraging that. We are going to have a new attendance policy in place for next year that that we'll be getting out to you guys as we get closer to the school year. And as everybody, I think, on this has said all along, please, 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 if you have questions, ask us. The guidance counselors, Dr. Funk said so many wonderful things about them. We got the best guidance department on the Cape. Oh, the South Shore. I mean, these guys rock. And they will answer any questions that you have. So please don't hesitate. And if guidance isn't available for whatever reason, Mr. Barrett, myself, Ms. O'Connor, please ask us, and don't hesitate. So looking forward to your kids being here next year, and look forward to working with you guys. And I think right now I'm handing it off. Am I handing it off to Ms. O'Connor?
Yeah, we'll get to athletics in a second. Just a couple more things about some goals and initiatives. And for me as the principal, I think it's important, all our teachers have goals. It's important for students to have goals, but it's also important for me as the principal to have some initiatives and goals that I think are going to help parents and students. So since taking over, attendance has been at the forefront. We want to find ways to make sure our students are in school. And for me, the way that works is we find connections with kids. We find things that engage them. We started an esports team this year. It's a varsity team. Okay, they made the playoffs last year. Last year we started it. They made the playoffs for the first time. So we have an esports team. We bought special computers that are just for esports. So for me, whether it's theater, band, athletics, art, music, esports, whatever it is, we're trying to find connections that are gonna have students find a way to stay engaged at DY. So that is a major goal of mine, is to improve attendance for everybody. My other goal, and I think we've done a pretty good job of it this year, there's always room for improvement, is communication. Okay, we've had close to, I'd say 12 Zoom calls with parents since September. 10 to 12 Zoom calls for different things, athletics, special ed, AP courses, MCAS, all kinds of different things, senior capstone project, junior parent breakfast. So I always feel like the more communication, the more we can update you on things that are happening at school, the better it's going to be as a parent, the more engaged you will be as a parent, the more engaged your students, your sons and daughters will be. So those are like two major initiatives that are coming out of my office that our admin team is constantly working on. And you know, this year it's been crazy, especially with the way the state's doing with MCAS. So we had an MCAS Zoom, then the state changed something. We sent out some letters. They changed it again. So, you know, for me, I just feel like we got to keep in constant communication with parents and students as best we can. One of the things that came out, I was blasting parents with, you know, Blackboard Connects and Zooms and all this stuff. And some of the senior students came to me and said, well, you know, we'd like to get some of those emails and information too. So I didn't even think of it, that most of the time when we send stuff out, it goes right to the parents. So we changed that. We still sent the stuff to the parents, but we also figured out a way to keep our students in the loop. So pretty much everything that I'm sending to parents or I'm discussing with parents, you know, our students are in the loop too. So communication is huge. And I think that's something that can always improve and I'm always working on. So really reach out to us. You know, we're here to help. We're going to, everything we do is going to be some sort of team oriented effort to make your son or daughter have a successful career at DY. So let me turn this over to Coach O'Connor, Miss O'Connor, our athletic director, and our head field hockey coach. She was fortunate enough to win a state championship with that. As we know, we have outstanding athletics here, so it's always nice when we win at the highest level. So, Coach, why don't you take it over?
All right, thank you, Dr. Funk, and thank you, the other panelists. As Dr. Funk said, my name is Mary O'Connor. I'm the athletic director. Like Dr. Funk, I strongly believe in this district. This is my 18th year. Started out as a teacher in the health phys ed department, and then became an assistant principal, now assistant principal athletic director. And I just love all of the things that we do at DY. And I'm sure you will too. It's so great to see our students on this panel. I know several of them are student athletes, and they are also ambassadors, as you can see, musicians, theater. And that's what we pride ourselves on at DY. You, like everyone has said so far, and I'm just repeating myself or repeating everybody, but it's so important to get involved. And we really want your student, your son or daughter, to be able to do what they want to do. And if Mr. Pendleton was here, hopefully he'll jump on, but he also stresses sort of some of the same things that we do in athletics. Get involved. Okay, you can do both. You can do more. There's so many things that are available to all of our students. Our coaches work with our teachers, work with our band director, work with the lead of color guard or Mr. Shoemaker in theater to make sure that we can schedule things, plan things, that if somebody wants to be involved in theater and also play tennis or run track or whatever the case may be, they can do it. And we feel that's really important for the success, thank you, of your son or daughter. But so a little bit more about athletics. Right now, we have been offering all of our sports throughout this entire year. We've changed it up a little bit because of COVID, but we've been able to offer all of our athletic teams. In the spring, we have coming up a full plate of athletics. All of the athletics, they're going to be starting a little later, but you know, we're offering everything that we can to all of our students. In the fall, we will be offering football, and they're actually playing now as well. So they'll have a short turnaround, but they'll do it. Field hockey, cross country, boys and girls cross country, boys and girls soccer, boys golf. We have girls golf in the spring, so that's coming up shortly. We have, excuse me, very dedicated coaches, some that have been there longer than I've been alive, and that is true. That is true. So if you have any questions, we will have signups probably for the 7th graders, probably in June. We will have parent information nights. We'll get that information out to the students. We'll get it down to the Matakees. We'll make sure that everybody knows what's going on. And the biggest thing is get involved. Even if you've never played that sport before, I like to tell people, or I tell people rather, I coached field hockey, played field hockey in high school, played in college. I didn't even know what the sport was when I entered 9th grade because I had moved from a town that didn't offer it. And a friend of mine said, "You want to do it?" And I was like, "I have no idea what it is, but I'll do it." Okay. And it just turned out to be impactful on my life and a great experience. So even if they've never tried a sport, there's a sport out there for everyone. And I encourage everybody to get involved. So if anyone has any questions, certainly shoot me an email, give me a call. Other than that, I'll turn it back over to Dr. Funk, I guess.
Yeah, awesome.
Coach O'Connor, sorry, there is one question in the chat that pertains
Sure.
to athletics. So the question is boys golf, does that happen during baseball season?
No, boys golf is in the fall and baseball is in the spring.
Awesome, Coach. Thanks. One thing that I'm, again, with communication that I think is going to be a benefit this year. The guidance counselors has opened up student Google Classrooms for grade 7. So in those Google Classrooms, we're going to start, this is going to be new this year. We're going to start putting, updates in there. We'll put in there, and we'll send it, I'll send some stuff out Blackboard Connect too for you guys, but we'll start putting in there, how to sign up for a sport. We'll put in there, I'm going to put the video, like I said, we're putting the video of the ambassadors in there, the feature film, the 50-minute feature film that they did. I've told all the teachers, we had a leadership team meeting, and I said, if you're doing a cool science experiment, throw a video of that in there. Anything that will let us, show you what's going on at DY, we're going to do. And it may be one of the positive things that came out of COVID is the use of technology, the use of video, the use of live streaming stuff. The teachers have become skilled at it. The students are skilled at it. I'm getting better at it. But the idea that we can easily show people what we're made of and what we're doing through that. So check your son and daughter's Google Classroom. We'll be putting in, stuff about band, anything that we got that we think is pertinent to students, clubs, co-curriculars, sign up dates, things like that. We'll be doing that regularly. We're going to try to do, 1 or 2 things each week to give the kids, a real idea of what is actually happening up here and what they're going to be a part of when they get here. Before you know it, it's going to be 2026, right? This is what we're talking about, the class of 2026. So your graduation and your journey is just getting, we're just starting that. So unfortunately, is Alex on here? He's not on here yet. Oh, there he is.
I just figured out how to do it.
There you go.
All right.
All right.
All right. Our championship.
Let's get some picture.
There we go. There's our
All
guy.
right. Well, I've been
Alex.
listening to it,
Awesome.
from the background. Sorry about that. Been listening to it, and yeah, am I up?
Yeah, Alex is no introduction, done a terrific job, DY graduate. He is the guest speaker tomorrow at Dennis Rotary, and he's going to speak about how he conducted marching band, jazz band, whatever during the pandemic. And I am so proud of all of our activities, but nobody, not one of them, was sidetracked by COVID. Band, theater, athletics, co-curriculars, nothing. COVID didn't sidetrack us at all. It tried to, and we didn't let it happen. So that's what Alex is going to talk about tomorrow at Dennis Rotary. But go ahead, Alex, take us through.
Yeah, so I'm sure I'm going to reiterate a lot of the things that have been said tonight, but you can never hear them too much. So my name's Alex Pendleton. I'm the department head for music and performing arts at the high school, as well as one of the head band directors. I'm also an alumni at DY, and I always like to mention that because you know, these activities and things you do at DY can be so life-changing to the point where you choose this as your career and your major, and you come back and teach here, and it's just an absolute blast. I'll be real brief. What we do with our music and performing arts department, we pretty much break it up into two categories. We have the stuff that we do after school, which is the co-curricular, and we have the things that happen during the school day. We're going to get in a lot more detail about the co-curricular offerings in May and June as we start preparing for the next school year. But just to list a few of the things that we offer, you know, we've got the championship award-winning marching band and color guard. We've got a competitive winter percussion and winter guard. Our theater department puts on a play in the fall, first half of the year, a big musical production in the second half of the year. And in addition, we've got a lot of other smaller ensembles. We have various string ensembles, select choirs, and various small wind ensembles that happen. Clearly, we've got pep band that plays at different athletic events, especially the football games. And you're going to see our band out there performing out in the community in various ensembles. But really, what's really special about DY are the music offerings that we offer during the school day. And in a lot of schools, what they do during the school day is the same as after school. And kids have to make those tough choices, whether they want to be an athlete or be a musician. But at DY, they don't have to make that choice. During the school day as an 8th grader, your kid can participate in band, chorus, orchestra, jazz band. And that's a really, really unique thing because those meet during the school day, just the same as a student would take history or math or civics or whatever the course might be. So just like a student can take science and run cross country, a kid can sing in the choir and run cross country. A kid can play football and play in the concert band. As I see some of my fellow students here, Julia, who's an uber athlete and is a hardcore clarinet player in the concert band. We got Victor over there, who, you know, great clarinet player, involved in a ton of stuff with the school. Riley Flynn, who's an amazing theater kid and was singing with my jazz band last year. You know, she's involved in the choir. And who else? And Kevin Arsenal, my gosh, probably one of the fastest kids in DY's history. And he's played in the jazz band and he's played, you know, in the concert band. And he's just, anyway. So those are some great shining examples of kids that do both. So that's a message you're going to hear from me and you hear from Dr. Funk and your guidance counselors that, yes, a student can be in band, chorus, orchestra, and be an athlete and be high succeeding at academics and join all sorts of clubs. The ensembles are a lot of fun. You know, just like in other schools, we do concerts. We do 3 or 4 concerts a year. We play various events. Most recently, we've done special concerts with guest artists. We've done intergenerational concerts with one of the older community bands. So there's a lot of opportunity. So the students today, you know, signed up for their classes and they're going to continue to tweak their schedule. I work very closely with Mr. Graff and the choral teacher at Matakes, and we'll ensure that the students don't get, you know, slip between the cracks and they continue on with their instrument and continue on singing as they get to high school. Last thing I'll mention is I'm sure we got a lot of parents out there whose kids may be not in a performing ensemble. Well, before I talk about non-performing courses, we'll teach you. I can't tell you how many students get to 8th grade and go, you know what, I wanted to be in the band, but I never had a chance. We will teach you how to play an instrument, whether it be a percussion instrument or maybe even a wind instrument. So if there's a desire and there is some effort behind it, we'll get you involved. But let's say you don't really have much of an interest being in a performing ensemble. Well, we got a ton of great music classes at DY, far more than any school on the Cape. We offer beginning guitar and intermediate guitar. We have beginning piano. We've got music theory. We have music tech. We even have AP music theory for when your kid's a little older and is an upperclassman. We have rock history, and we have various theater courses, some that are more lecture-based and others that are more performance-based. So we got a wide variety of music and performing arts classes here at DY. So I'll just wrap it up by saying we're going to be coming down and visiting the students of the 7th grade, most likely towards May and June, and talking more about the co-curricular opportunities. Usually we kick off the spring talking about marching band. That's the first group that starts up. But just want to make sure we know that there's a big difference between marching band and concert band and those other ensembles. They meet during the school day, no conflicts at all. and marching band's the co-curricular. So we'll talk more about that. But thanks for the time, Dr. Funk and everyone else. And students, will see you tomorrow in class.
Thanks, Alex. Great job. All right, so I want our student panel to say a couple things. So we want to be somewhat brief, okay? So I want you to go around. I want you to tell the parents, one of the great things that happened to you here at DY. I want you to mention, where you are in the college process, and how DY is helping you get to that point. So why don't we start with Kevin? And just give us like a quick overview of where you are with stuff, Kev.
Alrighty, awesome. So hello, my name is Kevin Arsenault. If you haven't seen me, hopefully you guys can see me on the Zoom. So I'd say I'm in a pretty unique position as a senior. So I kind of figured out who I wanted to be, where I wanted to go. Kind of early on, I know I wanted to go and to be an educator at some point. So I committed to college before Thanksgiving and got my financial aid and all that taken care of. So it's taken a lot of stress off my back. I've also been running for DY since the 8th grade on the varsity track and cross country team. So I'll also be running for college. And I'd say, honestly, the way DY has impacted me is it's just made me a well-rounded individual for so many reasons. I guess I'll stick with the two main reasons, though. It's the diversity of the student population and the diversity of opportunities. For one of my scholarship essays, for the DY PAC scholarship, the thing I said about what DY pride means to me, it's about being prideful of that diversity, and that's probably the greatest reason why I'm proud to be a DY Dolphin. And one of the career tracks I hope to pursue, possibly, is to be an educator at DY someday, is because you can just go to DY and walk around in the hallways, and your horizons will be expanded. You'll meet kids from various socioeconomic backgrounds, different walks of life, different interests. And if you're willing to put yourself out there, then this community can really transform you. And I guess that's the one thing I guess I just really, really would like to say, is that this high school is truly what you make of it. And if you're willing to go all in, if you're willing to treat school as not just a chore, but as your way of life for the next 4 or 5 years, then you'll suck a lot of stuff out of DY that you'll take with you far beyond senior year. And I guess like my biggest piece of advice that honestly got me through high school was don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Because like Mr. Pendleton said, I tried to get involved as much as I could as an athlete, being in the 2 music ensembles, being class president since sophomore year, now being an ambassador too. Putting myself out there, not only was I able to make a lot of friends and be able to relate to a lot of kids and be helpful within the building, but I was able to just make my experience at DY pleasurable. Now I can look back, now as I'm about to graduate, I can look back on my experience at DY and say, this was a place that truly equipped me to get to where I'm going to be going next year in the fall. And just shout out to the guidance department, because I can't describe how many times, even in 8th grade, I remember talking to Miss Glasheen about just anything, and so helpful. So yeah, I love this place. And I don't say that from some biased perspective as an ambassador of the school. I truly mean it. It's a great school, and just do what you can to make of it. That's what I gotta say.
Kevin, thank you. I obviously got to watch out for my job, because I think you're designed for it. I think you did a great job. Thanks. All right, let's go. Julia,
Yeah.
what you got for us, Julia?
Hi, my name is Julia Frommeyer, and I'm actually one of the 2 junior ambassadors. And so I'm not as a senior like Kevin and Riley and Victor, but so as far as college goes, I actually had my first junior parent conference with my guidance counselor today. And so that was a great experience. So I know kind of have a baseline of what I need to do, and a to-do list for now and what I need to do for the summer. And one of my favorite things about DY is probably the spirit. Spirit week is one of my favorite weeks because there are days that you can dress up, and I did that all the time with my friends, and it was so fun. And it's one of my favorite things to do. And kind of what Kevin said, if you put yourself out there, there are so many opportunities that will arrive. Like I put myself out there, and now I'm one of the 2 junior ambassadors. And I'm also in NHS and an Interact, which is a community service group. And it's just an amazing place that gives you so many opportunities. And I am just so happy that I got to go here. So
Awesome. Thanks, Julia. How about Victor? Victor.
Hello, everyone.
It's in the
My name,
morning.
yes, my name is Victor Souza. I do the morning announcements for our white team. I have started the college process. I'm waiting back to hear from financial aid from one of them. And one thing that I really take away from DY is that since like 8th grade walking into those doors, I've had such a huge team who's just really dedicated to like really helping you just like feel comfortable and feel this as like your second home. And like Kevin said, this is not biased in any way, but DY really has become my second home. And Miss Glasheen, Mr. Steele, I worked with them last year in the Key Club. We really got to see another side of them. We usually just see them in the halls. I always try to say hi to everyone in the halls. And it's really awesome just to see how dedicated teachers are to teaching you, but also on the sidelines, just trying to really be a part of your life and helping you in your decisions and how to really have your name for yourself at DY. Yeah, I mean, it's really, DY has been a home to me. And like Kevin said, I want to go into education. So one day I'll be back up there. Who knows, right back at DY.
Awesome. Thanks, Victor. All right, Riley.
Hello, I'm Riley Flynn. Like Kevin and Victor, I'm also going into education. I'm planning on going into elementary ed. And I have gotten accepted into 3 out of the 4 colleges that I applied to, and my 2 top colleges I got accepted to. So I'm very happy about that.
What are those, Riley? What are those 2?
Endicott and Keene.
Nice. Excellent.
So at DY, I have had the privilege to be involved in a ton of stuff. I've been a part of student government and different clubs like Human Rights Club. I was briefly a part of Key Club with Ms. Glasheen before COVID hit. I had the awesome opportunity to sing with Mr. Pendleton's band. I just found out that I'm going to be Jo March in our musical Little Women, which is an absolute dream role for me. I'm so stoked. I've been a part of like 2 productions a year since my freshman year with theater. And just being involved, I've made so many friends, so many connections that are going to hopefully last me a very long time. I've been able to make relationships and connections with teachers, which are awesome. And like the guidance department, there's just so much support coming from everywhere. Even after Miss Glasheen was no longer my guidance counselor, my friends and I used to like just throw ourselves away in her office after school and just spill all the drama because she's
always welcome.
That's great, Riley. Thank you. Thanks. So Riley brings up a really good point of our dedicated teachers. It would not be uncommon for you to find a math statistics class that was doing, a review on the weekend or after hours or from 4 to 5 at night. It wouldn't be uncommon to find an AP biology class or an AP chemistry class where Dr. Sivalowski is staying with a student till 6 o'clock at night till the student gets the material. You would find that throughout all our departments. And our student panel here really hit on the dedication that our teachers, the teachers have put forth. I'm going to tell you, it's a unique bond. I did not grow up on the Cape. I grew up on the North Shore of Boston. But there is a very unique bond to students and faculty that went to DY. It is unique. It's hard to put a finger on it, but there's a lot of pride there, and it's a great place. So we're getting sort of to the end here. So if you have some general questions that we didn't answer, type them into into the question and answer box, and we can maybe answer those the next few minutes. If you have specific questions to your son or daughter, please feel free to email any of us on this panel. Athletic stuff, I talked with Mary today about when fall sports signups will be. It'll probably be like June 1st-ish. They're starting spring, everything's a little later because of COVID, but it'll probably be around June 1st. Family ID will open up. We'll get you all that information. If you were at Mattakese, you already know that, how it works. And like Alex said, we'll probably figure out a way to go over to Mattakese and figure out how to sign up our marching band, and there'll be all kinds of information. The other thing too to remember is, a lot of this stuff is going to start in the summer, hopefully, which I'm planning on. Alex will have his practices in the summer, the color guards out there in the summer. The weight room and conditioning will be open in the summer for all our student athletes. We usually set up times. Now, again, we didn't let this past summer, but hey, we're planning on it. Planning on having some sort of physical conditioning for all our fall athletes. We have a paid strength coach that's in there. So a lot of this stuff is going to happen, and it's going to happen quick for you. So, if you have some questions, I'm looking at the question and answer here. My son wants to be a police officer. Who can he be speaking to about that? Well, you're going to the right place, because we have a Police Explorers Club. We're one of the few high schools on the Cape that has that. And that was started by Nick Pascarosa. It's also part of our Work to Careers program. I don't know if Katie or Josh wants to speak to that, but the students that are in that Police Explorers Club, they eventually can do internships. Josh, you want to just touch on?
Yeah, there's some amazing, when you think about later and down the road, there's some amazing opportunities for our students with work-based learning, police explorers, but we also have this new program called the IP Pathway that's coming out, and we're getting more and more information about that. Ms. Fady received a grant to run this program. Basically, students have been told about this and can apply for it. The current 8th grade is the first class that gets to be a part of it, but this is going to be something that's going to be available for your students for next year, and we'll have more information to give you guys soon. But it ends up creating so for health programs in the medical field, if you want to be a firefighter, if you want to go into social work, counseling, psychology, any of those jobs, you can get some real good experience and credentials by the time you graduate high school. That kind of is comparable to what a tech program does. For their health department. So it's a really cool program. We're learning more about it. It's brand new, it's starting this year. So we're really excited to find out more about that. But Ms. Fady does an amazing job with that program.
We have plenty of opportunities when it comes to law enforcement.
And the criminology classes too.
Yep, we have criminology. But with our 2 school resource officers are much more than school resource officers. When I talk to principals around the Cape, they can't believe how much our school resource officers do. Nick Pascarosa has been there. I think he's been there 30 years. He took over right after Deputy Chief Exaros, who was the very first school resource officer DY ever had. And he is directly involved in graduation. He's one of the graduation coaches that helps our seniors practice, and he is right there on the front lines when it comes to graduation. He's the one that's in charge of the Police Explorers program. We've developed almost like a pipeline to Fitchburg State, which has a special program where you can go through the police academy as a college student. We've sent some kids up there. And then our other school resource officer is Pat McCaffrey, who's a DY graduate. His dad was a former superintendent of schools back in the 80s and 90s. And he, again, is a wealth of resource when it comes to that. And I don't have time to name all the Yarmouth and Dennis police officers that have gone through DY. And many have played football for me. The list is long. So you're going to the right place, and we'll absolutely figure out a way to make that happen. Again, my daughter would like to be a firefighter. Absolutely. Work-based learning, we have internships. We've had kids do internships at the at different firehouses. As Josh said, that new grant we have is really, we really want to set Dennis-Yarmouth High School aside from everywhere else and make it a health science mecca for students. And some of the things we envision is EMT courses through the high school, exercise physiology classes, athletic training classes. We already have an athletic training class at the high school. CNN, nursing classes, enhance our anatomy physiology classes. We're already teaching infectious diseases, and we were teaching that before the pandemic. So we had that on as a course before COVID.
Ahead of the curve, you might say.
What's that?
I said, we're ahead of the curve, you know?
We're ahead of the curve. So we really want to make our school with that grant a health science mecca for that. So there's absolutely an opportunity for your son or daughter to be a firefighter. Okay, all right.
If I could, Dr. Funk,
Go ahead, jump in.
just, I mean, how cool was it to hear from these 4 students on this panel? I mean, it's so refreshing. I mean, that's where the magic is. You know, we always talk about what makes this school a special place. Well, you got 4 examples right here. And I personally can think of, you know, these, Dr. Funk asked these students, these wonderful young people to think about the way that DY has impacted them. And looking at these 4 faces on here, I can think of my ways that they have impacted me, you know? So it's not only, you know, the impact goes both ways, and the relationships that, you know, these kids form with the adults in this building, and then you know, it's a wonderful thing. But it's really cool to have you guys on here and to hear what you guys have to say. You're wonderful, wonderful young people.
Yeah, they did a great job. I mean, it really, this is great. So I think we're gonna call it a night. Katie, before I get off here, one of the things, again, I'm getting better at this. We want to this is recorded, and the goal is to put this up either on a website or on our DY Media One for other parents to see. So if you have a friend, couldn't make it, you know, everybody's busy. I'm hoping this records. It tells me that it is, and that we can get this up for people to view. So please get that word out. And you know, if there's anything at all that you need, feel free to reach out to us. We will try to figure it out for you and try to help your sons and daughters. So we can't wait to see them. Before you know it, the class of 2026 will be here at DY. So again, parents, thank you for joining us. The student panel was great. I thank the administration, and you know, Alex and you know, Katie and Josh did a great job. So all right, that's it. We're signing off.